Happy Monday. Welcome back, everyone, if you're on spring break. And for the rest of the folks, well, it's a brand new work week. I'm Rita Garcia.
Welcome back, Rita Garcia. I'm Jacob Rascone. Samika is off. Elita is here. Elita, we are back to school, back to work. What are we looking like?
Yeah, we're starting off this morning cool. You'll probably need the jacket first thing out the door this morning. Temperatures are running a good 5 to 10 degrees cooler in the wake of a cool front. We've got a reinforcement shot of cooler, drier conditions. So this morning, as much as 8 degrees cooler in Navasota, running about 5 degrees cooler in Sugar Land. So most of us this morning are starting off in the mid to upper 50s, lower 60s, down along the coastline. A little bit warmer there at 64 degrees, but those temperatures will continue to fall before the sun comes up. And then once the sun comes up, we've got a nice little warming trend for today, albeit still below normal as we get into the afternoon hours. You'll also notice a breeze, a steady breeze blowing that will strengthen by this afternoon. Gusts anywhere between 30 to 35 miles per hour possibility. But you'll notice that disturbance that rolled through with that cold front has now exited. We're still dealing with some clouds, and some of these clouds could produce a brief isolated rain shower. But for the most part, we are drying out for today as temperatures only climb this afternoon into the upper 60s. We've got another chilly start to the morning on Tuesday before those temperatures warm later on this week. And we've got some rain back in the forecast for this new work week. I'll have the latest details coming up.
All right.
Happy Monday, everybody. Brand new work week. It's great to see you. I'm Rita Garcia.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Jacob Rascone. Samika is off. Elita is here talking about your post-spring break forecast. Elita, our kids love to go outside in the rain. Wondering, they want it back. They want the rain back.
Okay, they're going to have to hold off until Thursday. By Thursday, we've got the return for some rain. But if your kids are like mine, hey, we want it dry. We want to be able to go out there, get on the fields. We've got some nice dry weather. We'll be on the stronger side, gusting closer to 30 to 35 miles per hour. So you probably want to keep that jacket handy. We've got some colder weather on the way for Tuesday morning before a warm-up. I've got those details for you coming up.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jacob Rascone.
Hopefully you had a great spring break, an awesome weekend, whatever the case. I'm Rita Garcia. Let's kick things off with our meteorologist, Elita Loresca. Certainly a cooler start today.
We've got an amazing start to your Monday morning, headed back to work, back to school. Grab the jacket. Temperature readings, some storms returning later on this week. I've got the full details coming up this morning, and a nice cool down as you head out the door. Temperature readings have dropped off in the mid to upper 50s to low 60s, but we're not done yet. We've got a bigger cool down overnight tonight into tomorrow before those overnight lows start off mild once again later on this week. We'll talk about, of course, the chances for rain coming up this week and a look at the weekend coming up. And yes, indeed, we're starting off this morning a little bit cooler. The colder air still lagging behind the cold front, but we'll get that cooler air to continue to funnel in and filter on down south. Right now, Waco at 54, we're at 61 degrees. A majority of us sitting somewhere in the mid to upper 50s to low 60s. That cooler air will be sticking around, at least for the next couple of mornings, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, and then we'll be feeling the impacts of some milder air as that wind switches from the Gulf once again. That breeze this morning is out of the north, and at times it will be on the strong side, especially the closer you are to the coastline. Check out that wind speed right now being reported out of Galveston. It's coming in out of the northeast between 20 to 25 mile per hour winds. That temperature reading right now in the low 60s. But those winds are going to remain elevated through the afternoon. We've got a small craft advisory until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Very rough conditions in some of those bays and lakes. Those surf heights will start off between 4 to 6 feet and then gradually increase through the afternoon, maybe even getting up to 8 to 10 feet. So very, very dangerous conditions down along the coastline. Here you can see that the wind speeds further inland may not be quite as strong, but they will remain elevated. You can see some of the projected wind gusts up in our northern counties, close to 30 miles per hour. Could find those 25, 30, even 35 mile per hour gusts later this morning and during the early part of the afternoon. Those winds should slowly subside as we get into the overnight hours. And with the clouds clearing out later on tonight and the winds continuing to calm, we'll find that those overnight lows will be noticeably colder tomorrow. So if you're not reaching for the jacket this morning, you may need that jacket for tomorrow. High pressure and this area of low pressure with that cold front, both of these features in proximity to each other, that's what's creating the breezy conditions. You can still see that the clouds will be stubborn to clear. From time to time, you'll get a break in some of that cloud cover, and you may even encounter with some of those thicker clouds a rain shower or two. At least that's what future track is showing. I'm not really convinced of that because I'm looking at some of the drier air that's blowing in and where the dew point temperatures are going to be. And because those dew point temperatures, the amount of moisture in the air is going to be so low, I just don't think there's going to be enough moisture there to really produce any significant rain. So just know, I think the majority of us today will be stuck under the clouds, but we'll stay mostly dry with highs somewhere in the mid to upper 60s. A couple spots could still manage to warm in the low 70s, but the majority of us will see those 60s. Now, here is a big story. Overnight tonight, temperature readings should fall somewhere in the upper 30s, low to mid 40s. So don't let this chill catch you off guard. We've got a couple mornings of this before we start to see a warming trend. You can see that the warmth returns in the low 70s on Wednesday. Thursday, most likely we'll see the return of some wet weather as this area of low pressure out here across the Intermountain West combines with a coastal storm system. This low pressure system, depending on its track right now, majority of the rain should stay offshore, but the northern fringes of that storm system is going to fling some widespread showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms in our direction. Right now, the weather prediction does have parts of southeast Texas, mainly south of I-10, featured in a level 1 out of 4 as far as a flood risk. So we could see the main focus of some of that heavier rain shifting along the coastline where lesser amounts on tap north of I-10. Most areas picking up anywhere between a half an inch to an inch, but you can see the heaviest of the rain stays offshore, just like I showed you with future tracks. So really, we've got one day here where we've got some active weather. I did bring a small rain chance on Friday because it does look like some lingering moisture is still with us. Otherwise, we should stay mostly dry well into the weekend with afternoon temperatures warming somewhere in the mid to upper 70s this weekend.
Very nice. Well, that's one way to start a Monday. How about that? Welcome to it, everybody. I'm Rita Garcia.
I'm Jacob Bradshaw. Samika off today. Alita here with a cool start to the morning.
Yes, we've got a cool start to the morning. Temperature-wise,
the straight line winds and everything. We're feeling a lot better, though, this morning.
Much better. You know, today's going to be one of those days where a lot of folks who have, endured that storm damage going to be able to clean up today. Lots of wind, though, to talk about as well. Let's talk about temperature-wise this morning in the wake of a cold front that moved through overnight. We are getting some cool cooler readings. That cold air locked up to the north, up toward Texarkana and Oklahoma City, that's going to be filling in as well. So temperature readings starting off this morning somewhere in the upper 50s to low 60s. Won't get much warmer than that due to that northerly breeze and also the lack of sunshine. We've got plenty of clouds that are going to be stubborn to clear out. We're starting off the morning partly to mostly cloudy with temperature readings right around 61, as I mentioned, in Houston. Notice the breeze out of the north between 10 to 15 miles per hour, a little bit stronger the closer you are to the coastline. Expect those winds to steadily strengthen by the afternoon. We could be dealing with winds gusting closer to 30 to 35 miles per hour. Also going to be very difficult for mariners today. For boaters, bays and lakes are going to stay extremely rough conditions. Wave heights building between 6 to 8 feet. And of course, those winds could gust up to 30 knots. Here's where the wind speeds are currently. Single-digit winds the further north you go, but south of I-10 is where we're seeing some of those stronger winds developing. As I mentioned, those winds will continue to strengthen through the morning and by the afternoon, peaking somewhere between noon and 5 p.m. and then slowly starting to drop off overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. The setup for today, pretty quiet as high pressure resumes control. This will eventually slide off to the east later on this week, giving way to those Gulf winds to bring back the moisture. But for today, mostly dry conditions. There are indications that some of these thicker clouds that'll be stubborn to clear could squeeze out a raindrop or two, especially along I-10 and toward our coastal communities. So not a completely rain-free forecast, but I think the majority of us will stay dry today. Here's a look at the highs today. Notice the normal high should now be 75 degrees on this last full day of winter. This afternoon, though, will be below normal temperature somewhere into the upper 60s. A couple spots could be in the low 70s. Overnight lows are going to be chilly. Temperatures dropping somewhere in the upper 30s to low 40s in our far northern counties. But we'll find ourselves, the majority of us, somewhere in the mid to upper 40s, low 50s down along our coastal communities. We'll stay nice and cool for that first day of spring before the warmer weather resumes. By Thursday, we've got one day really of some widespread showers and thunderstorms. This is this area of low pressure that's going to combine with a coastal storm. Some of the heaviest of the rain should stay offshore. It just is going to depend on the track. If this continues to track a little bit further north, then we could see more of that moisture being tugged in our direction. But for now, we've given us a 60% chance for some showers, some scattered thunderstorms. There is going to be a slight risk for some isolated street flooding later on this week, but the majority of that rain should exit on Friday. We dropped the rain chance for Friday to 20%, and then looking for a mostly dry weekend out ahead of what could be an active week of weather next week, guys.
Very nice. Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the bottom of the hour. Welcome back if you were on spring break, or maybe you were just enjoying a long weekend. Hopefully it was great. I'm Rita Garcia.
Back at it. We made it. I'm Jacob Brass.
Yeah,
thanks for joining us. Samika off. Elita here. It feels nice.
Yep, she's recovered. Good morning, Jacob. We've got our hour-by-hour forecast, and we're starting off this morning with temperature readings that have dipped into the 60s. We managed to warm yesterday to 78 degrees. Not a chance today. We've got that cool northerly breeze blowing, so temperatures will be a good 10 degrees cooler. May need that jacket. If not this morning, definitely tomorrow morning as those temperatures tumble into the 40s. The latest on how long this cooler weather sticks around coming up on the other side of the break. Is going to bring us our next chance for some widespread showers, maybe even a few strong thunderstorms. We'll have to monitor that for any sort of severe weather as we get a little bit closer. But do know that it's going to be an active day for us. On Thursday, I did bring up a slight chance for some wet weather on Friday with some of the lingering moisture and clouds still with that system. Otherwise, it should stay mostly dry over the weekend as temperature readings warm once again, somewhere in the mid to upper 70s, and perhaps next week as we get into the full week of spring, could see an active weather pattern resuming. Back to you guys.
Okay, it's 6:56. We're going to see you at the top of the hour as we continue our 24/7 news live stream.